All right. I'm a little early, but I think everything's working all right. Let me just pull up my live chat. All right. So now I don't have to have the chat over top of my screen and causing all sorts of problems. I can just look down and see whoever decides to type. So I think I'll do a little bit of recap as to what I got into last time. So last time I started work on Kea, or I started working again on Kea, one of my old languages that I quote unquote finished. I thought I was finished with about 2 years ago, and I realized I was a young conlanger. I say it with only 2 years more experience. But I worked on that. I worked on some of the tenses. If you follow me on the Instagram for Kea, Kea as in Kea, Kea.conlang for Instagram. That's I post on there about that. So you would see that we modified the tense system. A very interesting tense system, to say the least. A very English tense system. So I modified that for it to be a lot just better in general. Well, not necessarily better, but just more unique. And then I had modified it otherwise to outside of the stream to make it easier for people to understand what I might mean when I say remote past perfective. That just means a perfective. It's just a past perfective. So I was able to distinguish that the past perfective does not distinguish remoteness. It's generally, which leads to some very un-Englishy translations. Because you would need some sort of imperfective construction to decide whether or not, or to show whether or not you're in the past, or in the remote past or the near past. So yeah, that's what I got up to last time, and with Kea at least. And with this, with Ofsumir working title, I outlined some of my biggest desires with the language. Now I guess this is the worst time to do this. Am I audible? Can you hear me? And can you see the text in front of you? Hey, ship! Sorry. How's it going? Oh my gosh. Cool. All right. Hey, it's so cool to see you here. That's awesome. Okay, where was I? Also, if you hear a grunting, that just happens to be my pet pig. he's lovely. I apologize. I need to work on like compression. Figure out how that works. But so essentially what I wanted to do with Ofsumir, this language, is a lot of analogy. I was, as I said, like the last time I worked on stream, I think I burnt out with Ofsumir because I tried to get too deep into like this consonantal root thing. I wanted to do only purely... Yeah, so I'm just recapping. So I wanted to do originally like the tri-consonantal root system, you know, just like, of course, like every conlanger wants to do at least one time. Yeah, it was beyond my understanding too, but I tried to do too much with it, and I burnt out with it. And if you want to learn more about consonantal roots, I recommend the book The Unfolding of Language by Guy Deutscher. Just an insane book that opened my eyes to different concepts. And helped me learn. Like, so I figured I would, with Ofsumir, with this version of Ofsumir, I would take it a step back. And instead of fully consonantal roots, I would kind of just do a vowel slot, or a tense or agreement slot. So, looking at this, I had an idea for first person, so subject agreement governed by apophony. Not hiding my Germanic influence very well there, but it's just a clean, what is expected at least, is a clean front vowel, and then no mutation in the back. So apophony is just vowel alternation. Like sing, sang, sung. I, u, a, in, or I, whatever. It's vowel alternation. So, in words like moot, given this structure, you would expect for first person to be meet, second person to be mot, and third person to be moot, which makes sense. No mutation for third person. Oh my. One moment. So, no mutation for third person, right? And then for vowels, for when it's a vowel stem, you would expect some sort of mutation, which, fair. I don't have any problems with that, but mind you, this is just the sketch. I'm looking at what are the initial steps, you know? So, you would expect front vowel, and then no mutation at all. But then what happens with historical stems like meet? In the third and first person, it's meet. Meet, mot, meet. And the same thing with mate. Mate, mot, mate. And even mat. Met, mat, mat. Which I don't view as much of a problem as meet and met. But and the same problem occurs in vowel stems. Me, ma, me, me, me. So, what happens is this beautiful little table down here. This is the analogy table. Because me often goes with mu in historical versions, in historical forms of the word, it's just assumed that all words or all verbs that have the e in the first person form would have u in the third person form. The same thing with e. Because e commonly pairs with o, then it would be met, mat, mot. Thank you. It's imagine if I'm trying to think of an example. Now I know why they say never to make examples up at the board. So in The Unfolding of Language, it gives an example of analogy in English where I forget exactly who it was, but it was one of the Beatles had said that something was grody. You know, grody. Which wasn't a word. Grody was never a word. It was originally groat, which is a British English word for dirt or gross. But because this e suffix means like having to do with, it analogously just got glommed onto the end. Is it what? Is it I've never heard it used in my dialect of English. I've never heard the word groat. I've never heard the word groat used in my dialect of English or any American dialect of English. And given that the Beatles were English, I figured. I guess I shouldn't claim fact when I don't know. But long story short, groat was the word that grody came from. It may also just be a defunct word. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where groat is from. But it's that sort of idea that there is a common pattern. And in this language, in Ofsumir, the common pattern would be meet, mat, moot. So I have like a sketch down here. Yes, very much an aside. So as you can see, like in this stem, M high vowel T or closed vowel, I guess. Need one. Close and open. Closed vowel, a closed vowel stem, and an open vowel stem. And like all of these different historical words would merge into these stems. So meet and moot, to eat fish and to throw a tantrum, both become met. And mate, mot, mat, to become weird, to fight a bear, and to engage in billiards, all become emulhult. And that L infix, I'll talk about that in a second. But this is what I want to do different from my original sketch of Ofsumir, where in the original version, I would want something to the effect of. In the modern version, it would be something like, jeez, that sort of deal. For all of these, but I got burnt out by that. So I kind of settled on the idea of just the last vowel of a word becoming that vowel slot, which, I think it's fun. It's very, very Germanic. But I don't think that's necessarily a problem. So now that we've covered all of that, and we are at the time where the stream should have technically started, I want to get into this sort of deal, like my other plans for the language. Oh, and I forgot to cover this L infix. Mainly, I just wanted some sort of infix in there to use metathesis, which is, for those watching that don't know, metathesis is when you take a sound or a sequence of sounds like xa and turn it into ska. Yeah, things swap around. English example: cavalry and Calvary. Girt. I like that. Girt, which comes from great. Imagine swapping a vowel into liquid. Couldn't be me. So the way I've heard it explained is that you anticipate a sound. So in this word, you're anticipating the L. In that example, that ship so beautifully delivered, great, becomes girt because you anticipate. Well, no, is that metathesis, or is that vowel liaison? Is that the word liaison? Whatever. Or is that vowel hiatus? Or is it just rhoticization? I don't know. Long story short, things switch around. So words like meat would gain a suffix like lu, and that would turn into meat. Say high vowels at the end of words are lost, so it becomes meat. And say this language doesn't permit syllabic resonance, so it becomes milt to stop that from happening. It's that sort of deal. So, with that L infix, that's all that came down to. I don't know what that'll mean. It might be a tense marker. I know it's not going to be a grammatical number marker, because I don't want grammatical number. Mittel does sound very German. In die Mitte. I say that. I've taken like a few years of German. Like 5 years? 4 years of German in high school and middle school. But back on topic. So clefting. I've read about this. I was reading a paper where it was talking about the word order change in Old Irish to Modern Irish. How in Old Irish it was a very clean subject, verb, object language, and it went from subject, verb, object to verb, subject, object. If I'm correct, I'm pretty sure it's verb, subject, object. And one of the things that the author of that paper credits as the reason for that is something called clefting, which is it's a syntactic structure. Yeah, most of the Celtic languages. So I would imagine Irish is no exception, since it is the Celtic language. The author credits something called clefting for that word order change, which is something to the effect of, if we were to do it in English, Welsh is the Celtic language. I'm so sorry, but one of the things that we both forgot is the really, I didn't know that fact. The Welsh are half of all Celtic speakers. I'm sure, like, most of that has to do with history. You know, the history. But the thought is always like, oh, it's Scottish Gaelic. Sorry about that. Sorry about bringing that up. But the thought is it's always like Scottish Gaelic. So maybe neither of them are the Celtic language. Clefting, yes. If we were to do something like that in English, it would be he who is big saw me. He who is big saw me. The dog who is late. The fox who is quick. The fox who is quick jumped over the dog who was lazy. It's that sort of deal where there's a dissociation, I guess is the term, between the subject or the noun and the noun and the adjective, or in some cases the verb, as seen by modern Irish, rather. So maybe it's something like the fox who is jumping is over the lazy dog. Obviously, it's not an English thing. But it's that idea of removing something from something else. Yeah. Oh, in my dialect, it's common to ask questions like, get it? Getting hungry, are you? Sorry. That's actually pretty interesting. I didn't. Getting hungry, are you? Now I see. That makes sense. Okay. So it's not only happening in like it hasn't only happened in Irish, but it's making its way into other languages. Yeah. That's I like that. That's so we're just gonna I'm gonna have to do some reading on that. I need to read up on Cornish now. That's really cool. That's very cool. Yeah. All right. So I'll have to read up on that. So I have learning Cornish. So I guess I kind of did this as like a last sort of deal before leaving last week. So I'm not too sure of it now. Mind you, this would just be like the modern language. We don't necessarily know the proto-language. Which definitely I would do more work on probably in other streams if the desire to watch me figure things out is there. But so this was my initial thought. For example, you can say it's raining as either. I'm not going to try and pronounce that. But backwards or it's quote unquote backwards or quote unquote forwards. That's huh. Do you have any clue why Cornish is able to do that? Do you know if there's like if it's raining it is. Do you like? Is there a reason why? Like, is it like grammatical case or is it grammatical case? Is it case or agreement? Like, what's happening there? Why is that happening? Well, so I think the main function, verb agreement possibly. I think originally the purpose of clefting is like to bring things into focus. So like you can say the quick fox, right? That's just inflecting prepositions. Yeah, that'll do it too, you know? So, yeah, you can say the quick fox. Or you can say the fox that is quick. In this one, in the quick fox, the focus is this boy, the fox. But in this one, the focus is on the fact that it's quick. So focus. So might we expect topic marking or topic alignment rather? Some sort of That's something interesting. I'll have to put that down. Ooh, what's that VY at the end? Is that a is the VY at the end an agreement thing? Or is that an inflecting preposition thing? Oh my. That's something. Guns and Genev. Huh. That's non-concatenative right there if I've ever seen some. But yes, so if clefting has to do with topic, So that VY there is like an. Oh, of course. Of course, if the object is fronted, you don't add it. I mean, yeah, that would be the what I guess it would be assumed like because of that preposition, like Genev. You Genev. So that's a sort of like a. I'm trying to think. Is that like is the Genev mean? Yeah, I like. Okay. Yep. Just reading back the things. Reading back the comments. Oh. 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 VY is I. Well, back to the topic at hand. So we might be able to multi-purpose this clefting thing. So say in like proto-language, it could have gone. Yes, Cornish sounds very wonderful, and I need to check it out. That is that who. So in proto Ofsumir, we could say like it started off with an SVO word order, just a pretty plain head initial. Or would we want to do head final? Maybe head final. So maybe just so we can like have like justify all of that. All of that? Maybe? Um because the word order in modern Ofsumir looks very head initial, however, well, adjectives look head final, but everything else looks head initial. So what we could do, start off with SOV, have a very plainly head final, or head initial rather, SVO. I would believe it would be. I would believe it would be pro drop. Which I could also see like influencing like the word order later, because they can just, if say new pronouns come into existence, they could just slot them wherever they want. Yeah. And if topic is necessary, then or if the subject is necessary. Ooh. Okay, so, which is kind of how Celtic tends to be. I love that this is just becoming Semitic plus Celtic. That is fantastic. Oh, that's fantastic. So I like that idea of, hey, Galactic Sand, we are working on a project that I have abandoned, that I had abandoned a long time ago. Mainly because I was overwhelmed by it. Because I tried to do too much. So, we're getting back into it. So, right now, I'm trying to do... that... cornicizing... That is not... Cornicizing my language is not a problem. So it started off with a lot of Semitic inspiration. And then Ship just arrived and decided that he was gonna just absolutely wreck it. Absolutely wreck the Semitic aspects and just shove in some Celtic. So, right now I'm working on like some typological stuff. So oh my gosh, Galactic Sand. In fact, the ship has sailed. The ship has sailed. But, so working on some typological stuff, give things a reason to exist in the way they are, you know? So we figured out that we can go from SVO to VO to by means of topicalization plus prodrop. But mainly prodrop. So mainly prodrop would function there. And in both of the instances of noun and adjective, well, So my thing is I want to implement clefting, which I'm not sure if you're aware, but it's the idea of the quick fox versus the fox who is quick. It's the idea of focus. And I'm aware that relative clauses often follow adjectives, the type of word order that adjectives follow. And I don't know how I can do a thing to make relative clauses different. Like, because the main difference here is the fact that the last argument is the thing that is taking a lot of the focus, you know? So, trying to think, what could I do? Actually, what Ship was proposing earlier was that we just kind of do it. You know, like, so we start with nouns and then adjectives, but yeah, just do it. But relative clauses come first, since this is a very, yeah, if it's ambiguous, come up with some marking. Yeah, I don't, and because this language would end up being very head initial, it would be understood that the first argument is the most important. So yeah, I mean, I don't think I see a problem with just that sort of deal. Like, just doing it. You know, so instead of, like, say, the fox sits on a log, or the fox sees a dog, it could just be, or the sly fox sees a dog, it could just be the one who is sly, the fox, a dog. Yeah. Yeah, especially with intransitive verbs that need an adposition to introduce extra arguments. Yeah. Oh, the one who is sly, the fox, sees a dog. So something like that would be the fox, the tenacious. That's what allows Cornish to do it well. Those adpositions, yeah. That makes sense to me. Fox bites. The tenacious fox bites. With you, with me, with him. Yeah. I like that idea. I'm gonna sit on that. I'm gonna think on that, see if there's a different way that I can do it so it just doesn't become a copy of Cornish. But I really like that idea of the adpositions being what does it. Oh yeah, I don't doubt that I could do it with case. What? Who's... Yeah, Latvian also has like 2,000 cases too, so that's why I don't think it's too much of a problem. So to do that, 5,000, same thing. So going off that idea with the adpositions, only 5, a mere 5. Listen, every day I'm haunted by says. I'm just gonna say that, because one of my old languages that I also got burnt out on had 7 cases. Hence why I got burnt out on it. I didn't fully understand case marking, and heck, I still don't fully understand like what I was going for. Like, I wanted all sorts of ergativity and stuff, and at that point in time, I didn't understand it. I still don't understand it. Oh no. Including evocative. Well, see, the vocative to me is kind of like the vocative to me is kind of like the subjunctive of moods. It's just kind of there. It does its job. It has its job. But it's never really like 100% defined. It's very hard to define its purpose. Or I guess the vocative is more close to the imperative, not the subjunctive, the imperative, because generally it doesn't fit in, at least to me. That's what I've observed. Kind of like the imperative never really fits into like any sort of mood descriptions. It just was kind of put there. And I'm not bashing your choice of using a vocative. Sure, do what you want. But that's just what I think. To you I want to speak. Yeah, isn't it, Oh. In... So that orthis, or orthis, is... Are they inflecting prepositions, or are they just case marked pronouns for Cornish? And for Galactic Sand, wow. See, I'm fine. I'm fine so long as things are like clearly defined. Which is like a major step up from where I was. Yeah, if you want to use evocative, just make sure it's clear. If you want to... They're called inflecting prepositions? Well, I don't know. Me, with my 0 degrees. Yeah. Yeah, me with my 0 linguistic degrees, sitting on the internet, sharing my opinions. Yeah, like, No, I don't know where the line is drawn. That's okay. So it's the fact maybe it's the fact that it's like it's every single it's every single preposition. It's not like or every yeah, preposition. It's every single preposition. There's not just a line like to you, for you, with you, on top of space you. Yeah. Maybe the difference is that there's not like a line drawn where certain adpositions don't mix with that. Don't mix with the pronouns. Maybe that's the difference. Probably. That's probably the difference. So back to that idea of clefting in Ofsumir. So given that idea of clefting using prepositions, it might be the tenacious. No, me too. Man, I have ADHD. It's literally what I do. So I want to speak to or with you. See, I need to read up on these Celtic languages. Celtic languages, because that's it looks like it's just a wealth of information. Oops. Welsh, but that and dude, Ship, you convinced me that Cornish. Really? Well, yeah, fair. I have not heard of Cornish until like the past few years. Um, rock sleeps. Oh my gosh. Hmm. It would be more. Yeah, the Welsh are half of all the Celtic speakers. I didn't know Celtic was, or I didn't know Welsh was a Celtic language. Um, I like this. I like this. I really like this. So, I'm I often gush about how much I love the Germanic languages. Um, I don't know if I have an indefinite article yet. Um, mind you, I am starting from square two. I have the idea, and I have like the base, like I have the baseline. Is that oh, may whales live? Oh, um. So I have the idea. I have the main core function of the grammar. Um, but I don't have a lot of the smaller bits. Um, that's the big thing. I just I just need to work some things in. And I wouldn't be against having both types of articles, we could just we could just say like these are understood as a rock and the tenacious fox. So I'm gonna have to work on that a bit more. Work on that idea. So like what is the function that causes that? Could it be an inflecting preposition? Could it be case marking? I don't see a problem with it being case marking, but I do case marking too much. I do case marking way too much to do that in this one. I've barely done inflecting prepositions. I think the closest thing I have done to inflecting prepositions is my Geomancer project that I've been working on recently. But those suffix onto the verb as a sort of applicative system. So I think I'm all right with the idea of inflecting prepositions. I just need to work it out some more. All right. So because I need to leave soon, because I need to leave soon, I want to hit a little bit into the phonology. As a brief recap, just so we can be informed, main goal is to have a sort of front vowel, and then no mutation at all. So, which then eventually becomes understood as front, and then back. Well, so for spicy phonology, I was driving home literally today, and I was thinking. So, I was thinking about in the Wikipedia article for the International Phonetic Alphabet, how it comments on diacritics and how they can be used multiple, like you can use multiple diacritics to indicate like something more of what the diacritic means. So like, and I'm just gonna use like full letters and not superscript letters. Be as angry as you want, but so gua. So say there's like a three labialization distinction. Ka, qua, and gua. Ka, qua, and gua. Now, I wasn't thinking about labialization, though. I was thinking about aspiration. So, pa, and p. Geminate W. But I was thinking aspiration. So double aspiration. Maybe it could be interpreted as like tense versus lax sort of consonant. And that's why I waited to stream to put anything in stone. As if anything can be in stone. Oh yeah. I think a lot of that sort of like doubling diacritics comes down to like transcribing live speech. um, like, oh, this person is using unequal aspiration. So, like, per just imagine that that's a upside down V. Person. But then the second one he says is person. Or people. I think it mainly comes down to that because I don't know. Mind you, I came up with this as I was driving home from dropping somebody off somewhere. Like, it was an hour ago that I came up with this. So, I haven't done very much reading on it, but the idea is there. So, if any of you have any ideas as to what I should include, what I could include, let's just jam it. Just all of the aspiration. So do we want PTK? Do we want PTK? Yes, no. If we don't want PTK, we can do all sorts of weird stuff. I'm always a fan of weird stuff. Yes, no. Yes. We want PTK. Okay. Do we want something in between the uvulars or velars and the alveolars? I wouldn't be against voicing. And the way I was thinking of evolving this heavy aspiration would be able... We'd be able to do voiced. Oh, ka is always good. But the way I was thinking of evolving these heavily aspirated obstruents is... Okay. P-t-t-k. I'm fine with t. This would be the first language that I actually like stick with that. Yeah, ship. I think it's the I think in Irish at least. It's the slender k is either recognized as ch or k. So that's, I believe so. Yeah. But the way I wanted to evolve these heavily aspirated was p. Yeah. So say like say that there's a sound chain of b to p and p to p, and then later on in the history, say, never developed phonemic palatalization. I know it exists allophonically in some dialects of Welsh. Yeah, I don't doubt it. So later in the language, we could say that there's some sort of voicing thing where just plain p becomes b. So hear me out. So hear me out. We're just gonna do that for now. And then, oh my gosh. Voiced aspirated consonants. Oh my gosh. Does everybody like this? Is this vouched for? And mind you, we don't have to. This is gonna be fun. And mind you, I if that's fine with y'all, yes, I believe they're just breathy stops. Yeah, I don't doubt. Woo! We're doing it! Now, I'm kind of concerned about this palatal series. Hold up, let me... Bam. So... the aspirated we can have them aspirate. All right, so have it. Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. So for the proto, we're looking at something like just a plain PTK. Yeah. Yeah. So you're just ship. You're just yes. This is modern. I wanted to work on the proto like later. I just want to have like something to shoot for, you know? So I'm not. Yeah, I just want to have something to shoot for. So very dangerously, in fact. And then do we want the aspirated palatals to be just the plain aspirated palatals to be affricates? Or do we want only the heavily aspirated to be affricates? Or we could have the heavily aspirated become just fricatives. And then this one becomes just CH. Do we want that? Is that something? I feel like that would only happen in the palatal series because of their. Oh my gosh, Hya is nice. I love Hya. I just never get a chance to use it. Okay, so Galactic Sand, what were you thinking? What were you thinking for the for this palatal series? We can also just do as a fricative. You know? Yeah. So heavily aspirated. Bam. So then you could have sh and h. We could have a distinct sh and h. We could. That's always fun. I don't know if there are any languages that distinguish those. There we go. Mandarin, apparently. But doesn't Mandarin does the alveopalatal versus the retroflex, right? Like a sh versus sh. I don't know. Russian does something similar, like sh versus h. Well, it is about time for me to go, guys. I had a lot of fun today. And Ship, I'm sorry that I blew your eardrums out. That was my bad. My bad. So, have a good one, guys. I hope you enjoyed.